The movie begins with Jin Seok moving into a new house with his parents and his older brother, Yoo Seok. The house is quiet and a bit unsettling. Their father tells them that one room in the house still has the belongings of the previous owner. He warns both brothers not to go into that room no matter what. The room remains locked and no one talks about it after that. One rainy night, Yoo Seok suggests that Jin Seok step outside to get some fresh air. While they're outside, something terrible happens. A car suddenly pulls up, and Jin Seok watches in horror as his brother is kidnapped right in front of him. Yoo Seok is dragged into the car, and then the car speeds off into the night. 19 days pass with no sign of Yoo Seok. Then, one day, he suddenly comes back home. But something is wrong. He doesn't remember anything about where he was or what happened to him during those missing days. Jin Seok notices that his brother is acting differently. His personality has changed. He starts to believe that the person who came back might not be Yoo Seok. When Jin Seok brings it up, Yoo Seok says that his strange behavior is because he hasn't been taking his barbital medication, but Jin Seok doesn't believe that. Things around the house begin to feel more suspicious. His parents also start acting in ways that make him uneasy. He begins to feel like he's being watched or tricked. Scared and confused, Jin Seok runs away and goes to the police for help. He explains everything, but the officers don't believe his story. They think he's mentally unstable. Jin Seok tells them it's the year 1997 and that he's 21 years old, but the police inform him that it's the year 2017 and he is 41. Shocked, Jin Seok looks around and starts noticing modern technology, like smartphones, tablets, and an LED TV. He sees a news clip showing South Korea's President Moon Jae-in meeting with Donald Trump. That's when it hits him. Something is very, very wrong. He rushes back home and finally enters the locked room. Inside, he finds a setup that looks exactly like a crime scene. Just then, his family walks in and Yoo Seok tells him the truth. 20 years ago, a woman and her teenage daughter were murdered in that room. The case was never solved, but the victims' families never gave up. They believed Jin Seok was the killer, so they kidnapped him and tried to force a confession. They tortured him, but Jin Seok still insists he doesn't remember doing anything like that. He is lost between memory and truth, unsure of what happened. A psychiatrist is brought in to help Jin Seok understand what happened. He believes that Jin Seok may be suffering from dissociative amnesia, a condition where someone blocks out memories connected to a traumatic event. The psychiatrist thinks that Jin Seok's mind has hidden the truth from him. To recover those lost memories, the psychiatrist suggests using hypnosis to bring Jin Seok back mentally to the time before the murder in 1997. The idea is to recreate the scene of the murder in the hopes that reliving it might help Jin Seok remember. The psychiatrist agrees to act as Jin Seok's father, while Yoo Seok, who is Mr. Choi, hires an actress to play their mother. During this time, the actress calls Yoo Seok by his real name, Mr. Choi, revealing that his identity has been fake all along. They decide to use the same restricted room, the one where the murder happened, as the setting for their reenactment. They plan to finish the act on a rainy night, just like the night of the original murder, but things take a sudden turn. Choi is arrested by the police for assault and fraud. This throws everything off track. When Choi returns, the group has no choice but to keep pretending like nothing happened. They wait again for a rainy night, hoping they can carry out their plan and finally uncover Jin Seok's lost memories. Back in the present, Jin Seok continues to believe that he is innocent. He gets scared and runs away from Choi. Choi chases after him in a van, but during the chase, Choi crashes the van and injures his head. At the same time, a stranger accidentally hits Jin Seok with a car. Jin Seok wakes up in the hospital, confused, hurt, but alive. Then something happens. The trauma and impact unlock something in his mind. Suddenly, Jin Seok begins to remember everything from that night in 1997. In his memory, he is standing by a river. His real parents and his real brother, Yoo Seok, are waiting for him in a car. Later that night, the family gets into a terrible car accident. The crash kills both of his parents and leaves his brother badly injured. Jin Seok desperately tries to save his brother, but getting money for surgery proves almost impossible. At the time, South Korea was suffering from the 1997 Asian financial crisis, and hospitals were overwhelmed. Jin Seok struggles to find a job online and is repeatedly rejected. Then he gets a strange message from an anonymous person. The message offers him money to kill a woman, but he is told to leave her 2 children unharmed. Feeling desperate and helpless, and with his brother's doctor urgently demanding money for surgery, Jin Seok agrees. He chooses to do something terrible, not because he wants to, but because he believes it's the only way to save the person he loves most. Jin Suk arrives at the house, ready to carry out the murder he agreed to, but once he's there, his conscience begins to trouble him. He stands silently in the dark, holding the knife, but he can't bring himself to go through with it. As he's about to quietly leave, the woman in the house wakes up. Still half asleep, she mistakes him for her husband. Jin Suk turns around, startled, and the knife in his hand catches her attention. She screams in terror. Jin Suk, panicked, backs away slowly, trying to calm her down without using violence. Eventually, she stops screaming as he continues backing away toward the door. It looks like he might escape without harming anyone. But then, a bigger problem begins. The woman's young daughter wakes up from the noise. She comes out of her room and sees Jin Suk holding the knife. Terrified, she screams and runs back into her bedroom, trying to shut the door. Jin Suk chases after her, desperately trying to make her stop screaming before the neighbors hear. He reaches the door just as she's trying to close it and wedges his hand between the door and the frame. He pushes hard, trying to get inside. As he struggles, the knife in his hand accidentally cuts her. She falls and blood begins to pool on the floor. The girl's mother rushes over and sees the horrifying scene. She starts screaming again, louder than before. Overwhelmed and terrified, Jin Suk panics and stabs her. He believes that stopping her screams is the only way to avoid getting caught. He kills her in desperation. As Jin Suk prepares to flee the house, a little boy appears in the hallway. He looks at Jin Suk with sleepy eyes. Jin Suk, still in shock, calmly tells the boy to go back to sleep. The child obeys and disappears back into his room. Jin Suk walks out of the house, shaken and filled with guilt. But there's one final shocking twist. Outside the house, Jin Suk learns the truth. The woman he murdered is the wife of the very doctor treating his injured brother. The family he destroyed belongs to the man he trusted to save Yu Suk. Jin Suk confronts the doctor and demands answers. The doctor confesses that he was the one who arranged the murder. Because of the 1997 financial crisis, he was deep in debt and couldn't afford to care for his family. He had taken out multiple life insurance policies on his wife. Her death would ensure that his children had money and wouldn't become homeless. Jin Suk is furious. He can't believe he was used like this. The two men argue, and things quickly turn violent. In the middle of the fight, the doctor loses his balance. He slips and falls, dying instantly. Jin Suk stands over his body, surrounded by silence, haunted by what he's done, and by the truth that can never be undone. In the present, Choi survives the van crash and returns to the hospital where Jin Suk is recovering. He plans to poison Jin Suk, ending everything once and for all. But before he can act, Jin Suk calmly tells Choi that his memories have come back. He remembers everything now, every moment of that tragic night 20 years ago. Hearing this, Choi finally reveals who he is. He's the son of the doctor, the same boy Jin Suk saw in the hallway during the murder. He was the one Jin Suk spared that night. After the deaths of his mother and sister, Choi's life took a dark turn. His remaining relatives took the insurance money and left him behind. He grew up alone in an orphanage, filled with pain, anger, and questions. Choi now faces the man who destroyed his family. He doesn't yell or fight. He simply asks Jin Suk why he didn't kill him too. Jin Suk, overcome with guilt and sorrow, lies. He tells Choi that he alone is responsible for the murders, trying to protect Choi from the painful truth about his father. But Choi can see through him. He doesn't believe Jin Suk. Realizing the full weight of what he has done, Jin Suk quietly takes the poison meant for him. He accepts his fate and dies, finally free from the burden of his memories. Moments later, Choi walks over to the hospital window. As the reality sinks in, he feels an emptiness that cannot be healed. He watches the world outside, but it offers no comfort. Still struggling to make peace with his past and now completely alone, Choi jumps from the window, ending his own life. As both men pass away, the story returns to 1997. Jin Suk is once again shown standing quietly by the river before the tragedy unfolds. A young boy runs up to him and kindly offers a lollipop. Jin Suk gently declines with a smile. The boy then runs back to his family, the doctor, his wife, his daughter, and himself. They are all alive, happy, and together. The family walks away in the sunshine, hand in hand, a picture of innocence before everything falls apart. Jin Suk stands still, watching them, a soft smile forming on his face. In that peaceful moment, it's as if he's been given one final memory, not of blood or guilt, but of a happy family before fate tore everything apart.